What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Celtics Daily Channel with me, Mike Zakarian. I hope everybody had a nice weekend. You enjoyed some time off from me. I was traveling, but we're back. We're back in the saddle with some more Celtics offseason nonsense. And it is mostly nonsense today, but we're gonna do a little over under. We're gonna talk a little bit about Dylan Mitchell, who kind of gave his final stamp of approval on the Celtics season, and then obviously we're gonna talk a little bit about the Jaylen Brown intro because we wouldn't be the Celtics Daily if we didn't mention at least or invoke Jaylen Brown one time. But do me a favor before we get going. Let's like this video, hype the video, subscribe to the channel, do all the things. Let's make the algorithm go boom. Over, what was it, Friday? Was it Friday, Thursday, or Friday? Jaylen Brown. He got introduced as a Philadelphia 76er. Actually, in true JB fashion, too. Like that he found, I don't know, he didn't do it at the 76ers arena. He got into the city of Philly, already immersing himself in the community, in the vibe of the place. Love that he did that. I mean, it's the same type of energy he brought to Boston. Also, I think he's still having his like block party, right? Did I make that up? Let me double check that on the fly here. Pretty sure Jaylen Brown is doing his last block party of sorts here in Boston in the next couple of weeks here. August 30th. August 30th, he's doing a frequency fest, which is pretty fun. So shout out JB. But anyways, he officially gets introduced as a Philadelphia 76er. And here's like, I don't want to talk about this too long, but I do think it'd be a mistake not to at least mention it. It is, and like Celtics reporters had made their way to Philadelphia. It was kind of bizarre that when asked, Jaylen Brown and Tatum really haven't spoken since the trade, which is it's kind of nuts. Like even if they were just maybe they're just colleagues and they're not boys, right? But they won a title together. They've played together for almost a decade. It is. I feel like even if I wasn't the best of friends, I probably would have shot him like at least a text. Hey man, dude, it's gonna be brutal battling against you this upcoming season. It's gonna be weird seeing you in the visitors' locker or something like that, right? You just like say something like that. But for it to just be at the point where they kind of really haven't spoken since the trade is a little weird. And it gets me kind of excited to see what these games are gonna look like. I feel like there's going like it obviously there was already going to be a little juice behind them, especially when Jaylen Brown comes back to Boston for the first time. But I don't know. I feel like there's a little bit more animosity there. Do you guys feel that way, or do you think we're like looking into that a little bit more in searching? Are we just searching for the off-season content, or is that a real thing? Is that a real thing? I do think it is a little weird, and it kind of makes me want to like re-examine some of these moments throughout the last couple of seasons, and like maybe the vibes were a little weirder than we give it credit for, and then maybe we should be giving more credit to Missoula for just keeping the boat afloat for as long as they did. And again, not that it was toxic or anything. I just think I don't know. I mean, they give so many politically correct responses when talking about the team and the organization, their relationship, right? And so for that to be the curated response, to be like, we haven't really talked, makes me think that it's even a little worse than that, right? That if we picked away at it, I'm curious if we get like, do you guys think we get more information as time passes? Like, we've heard from who, like Grant Williams on a podcast trying to say that it was a little overblown, although that proven to be incorrect. Jordan Walsh was talking about it. Like, is somebody going to give us some sort of like true breadcrumb? Is there a tell-all book? Typically, what happens when somebody leaves the Boston sports organization is they get trashed by the media. It seems like that is slowed down. Um, I always think of like Terry Francona the first time he left, and like I forget, somebody from the Herald like absolutely smoked him on the way out. But I don't know. It's bizarre. I'm excited to see them play against each other. Curious if we get more information. That's kind of it on the JBJT situation. One other thing about Tatum, do you guys see this? Like Washburn was on was it on the Celtics? Was it with the CLNS? It might have been a CLNS show, but man, just absolutely got smoked here for some of his comments trying to elude the fact that Tatum was sitting out game sevens when in actuality, yeah, okay, here it was. It was from I don't even know what pod this is from, but it said he basically came out and said that Tatum was ducking Game 7 of the 2026 series against the Sixers when he was officially ruled out of the game by the team due to left knee stiffness, but also mentioned that Miami Heat game, right, where he got ruled out, where he started the game, but then tweaked the ankle at the top of the game and played like what, a minute. That was when they were down 3-0 to the Heat. But yeah, Washburn just like I like sort of walked it back, but just real uncomfortable stuff. Real uncomfortable stuff. That's how you can tell it's August. This is what we're talking about right now. We need the boys in training camp, right? We need them in the gym so that we have some other things to talk about. You know who's going to be in the gym is Dylan Mitchell. Dylan Mitchell signed his two-way. He's not going to test the college courts, both legally and gym courts. It seems like he is going to be staying with Boston. After there was the rumor that he was flirting with the idea of going back to the Johnnies in St. John's for another year of college, and then that would have been a confusing situation. But instead, it was just like a 48-hour news cycle. Seems like Dylan Mitchell's going to be back. We don't have to figure out another two-way or anything like that. So that's exciting. Good to have him back. We're back. I mean, I guess officially with the team. I really liked what we saw from him in Summer League. I don't know how much run he's actually going to get with the Boston Celtics versus the Maine Celtics. It seems like he'll be doing more G League energy than with the NBA just because of the bodies that we have. But I think he's going to have an opportunity to take on a pretty big role with the G League team and get those the opportunity to get those reps up there. And then hopefully, hopefully the Celtics are in such good shape come springtime that they can throw a couple games and let the young guys get in there while the vets rest before the playoffs. But this is probably like we're building towards the future with somebody like Dylan Mitchell. But that's good. Very exciting. Very exciting. A couple other things I thought we could do before we get to some of your comments from a recent video, which again, because I took a few days off, might be a little dated, if you will. But today on my NBA Bit show, which if you haven't checked out the NBA Bit, we got 3 live streams for you this week. So go subscribe to the NBA Bit, boys and girls. All right. What I thought we could do is do some over-unders here. And in the Eastern Conference, right, the Celtics are tied with the second highest over-under in the entire Eastern Conference. You have the defending champs, the Bing Bong Boys, the New York Knicks. Over-under is set at 52.5, right? The Knicks lost Mitchell Robinson, but that's kind of it. They lost Mitchell Robinson and Ariel Huckparty, and they got Andre Drumdog Millionaire to fill in the gaps there for them. But they are at 52.5, which honestly, like, both feels high, but not that high, considering they are the defending champs. I always wonder, like, when you win a title, can you take your foot off the gas a little bit in the regular season? Because you're like, we know how to do it. Well, like, we didn't need to be the 1 seed last year. Why do we need to step on the throats in February? We can just be ready to go and peak in April when it's time for the postseason, right? So 52, although for that to be the highest total in the East, I think also speaks to just how deep the Eastern Conference is, right? Because after the Knicks, right, the Celtics are right there tied with the Philadelphia 76ers at 50.5. And I don't know what to do with any of these, honestly, because like Philly could be taking the same approach that we see the New York Knicks talking about, right? Where it's like, we just need to be healthy in April. We're not worried about LeBron James logging 65 games, Joel Embiid logging Joel Embiid, they're like, if we get 45 games, hell yes. But if they are healthy in April, they're a little bit dangerous. But my lean is to say, do we go under 50.5 on Philly? Although even if you have Embiid and LeBron missing, it's still Jaylen Brown, Tyrese Maxey, and VJ Edgecombe in year 2. That's still a pretty talented team. And I think they could still log a ton of wins, but 50 feels like a ton. And then the Celtics, man, I don't know what to do. I went under on them last year, and obviously they proved me wrong by like 13 games. I kind of lean over here. I feel like this is a team that's going to win a lot of regular season games. They have some depth in the wing position. If Paul George is able to stay on the court, if Mitchell Robinson is able to stay on the court, they have depth at the 5. They have depth at the 3 and the 4. I think they still have some guard questions in bringing in guys like Mike Conley to back up Peyton Pritchard and Derek White. I think there's still some questions to be answered there. I also think, and this was the same thing that they had to deal with last year, and like, because they ran so pure health-wise, they didn't have guys missing games, right? Jaylen Brown played the majority of the games. Derek White played almost all of the games. They were all like scheduled rests. But if anybody misses a long, whether it's Paul George, whether it's Jason Tatum, White, or Pritchard, I think one of those core four, honestly, you could throw Kata and Mitch Rob into it too. If they miss a chunk of time with the real injury, I think that is going to be harder to overcome than years past. One, because of the depth, but two, because of how much better the Eastern Conference is. So I think I would lean over, but I'm a little bit nervous about it. Because then again, right, so those two, so 52.5 for the Knicks, then Celtics and 76ers are next at 50.5. But then the Pistons are at 48.5, the Cavs are at 47.5, the Heat are at 46.5. And then you've got like the Hawks, the Magic, the Pacers, and then the Raptors are all over 42.5, like 42, 43, 44. So there's just like not a lot of bad teams. It's just like even the Wizards out there already talking about the chemistry with Anthony Davis, Trae Young, AJ DeBances out there. You got Keyshawn George gave him some minutes last year. Alex Sarr again. So like that's going to be not a great team, not even a good team, but a way more competitive team than what we've seen with Washington's in years past. Again, the Pacers won't be tanking. They're going to be good now with Halliburton. The married man is back. It's just really the Nets and the Milwaukee Bucks who are going to like really, really suck. Even the Bulls will be a little bit more talented, although they'll be at the bottom end. So I don't really know what to do. I don't really know what to do with any of these over-unders. It's going to be really tricky. We're going to do, again, like I mentioned on the NBA bit, we're going to do a deeper dive onto that a little bit later today. So come tune in. That's going to be at noon, right when this video's over. Go check it out. And speaking of checking stuff out, like the video, subscribe to the channel, do all the things, as we're approaching
The SI Now article from Corrales
here in the Celtics
about
Daily. Love to see it. All right, let's get into some of your comments from our most recent video here. See if there's anything good. It seems like this Steph Curry played some golf, right? Played some golf with Tatum. Everybody got really excited, but we haven't heard anything since then. There was a couple of people were saying this now. Like if Steph is available, you have to go get him. Here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. If you are getting Steph, I stand by this. Like Ken Westbrook was like, you have to go get Steph now. If we get the deal we want, have him this year and next year. Yeah, but if you're trading for Steph now, right? Because he is, let me double check this, but I'm almost positive this is the last year of his deal, right? Or does he have a player option next year? Let me double check that. Let me double check in real time before I start yelling at you guys. But if he doesn't have, let's see. Yeah, so this is his last year, right? So why would you give up? Because again, if he wants to come to Boston, if he actually wants to come to Boston, then there's no reason. There's no, like, because then you know he's going to sign a new deal with them next year. So why would you give up a bunch of assets when you can get him for, not for free, but you can get him without giving up anything next year? So I actually think it'd be a pretty poor form for the Celtics to do it this year. But I don't know. I just don't think it's worth giving up the assets. Like I'd rather just get Steph next year. We got Greek. Let's see. Greeky Zeke. Oh, okay. This is a great question. So Jaylen Brown has his going away party. We talked about that at the top. Do you guys think Jason Tatum attends? That would be a good way to just shut everybody up about all this. Like even if he doesn't want to go, to just kind of like roll through the party, take a couple pics, sign some babies, sign some baby kids some autographs. Have a drink, have a snack. Again, photo op, and then get on out. That would be the good PR move. I don't really know. Time Freedom has been pushing the Trey Jones stuff. He says, I like the rumors of a trade for Trey Jones for Sam Hauser, but I might like the trade Sam Hauser for Scottie Pippen Jr. more. He's a better defender and three-point shooter. I haven't heard any of those rumors, by the way, except for the people putting those into the chat. I haven't seen anything about Trey Jones. Haven't seen anything about Scottie Pippen Jr., but I do like both of their games. I think they're both like excellent backup point guards, so I'd be okay with that. EMB says Boston needs to get Nikola Jokic from Denver. Boston, reach out to Jokic. He is a modern-day Larry Bird type of player. Listen, dude, Jokic is the best player in the league right now. I don't think he wants to come here. I don't think Denver wants to give him up. Obviously, Boston wants him here. But listen, if they don't like sign this extension, this is another one that maybe next season, if Jokic starts, especially if they flame out again in the first round, maybe Jokic is like, I'm taking my Serbian horses and we're going elsewhere. Okay, LB Dirtbagger says there's no way they can pull off Steph. I hope, but wish in one hand, crap in the other hand. Yada yada yada. There we go. What else you got? Soldier says loved the content. Soldier for Christ, love the content mixed with the comedy. Man, I bleed green. Keep grinding, kid. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. C's have to retain Mitchell's draft rights, says John Yell. Don't you worry, we got him. Okay, Jonathan Taylor says for the record, Pacers Paul George and Oklahoma Paul George is for sure better than Jaylen Brown. It's not even up for debate. Yeah. I mean, Paul George. I actually think that's a pretty similar comp. Paul George, right, flirted with MVP one of those years with Oklahoma City. But yeah, that's right. But we're not getting those. We're not getting those Paul Georges, right? So like, you're right. It's not up for debate, but also the debate doesn't matter because we're not trading for OKC Paul George. We're not trading for Indiana Paul George. We got the Philly Paul George. VDoc says, doesn't it defeat the purpose for trading for JB if they're going to sign Curry to a max 2-year deal? That's the other thing. This is what I was saying about the Steph stuff. The only way the Steph idea works is if he sees what LeBron did and is like, I want to do that. I would also like to just play competitive basketball. I've got like a 400 million Chinese shoe deal going on right now. My wife has restaurants around the world. I've made hundreds of millions of dollars. I'm also a son of an NBA player. I am fine financially. I do not need a 2-year, $125 million deal. I just want to play good basketball, much like what LeBron did for Philly. If Steph is open to that, that's when you go do it. It would defeat the purpose if you get rid of JB and then go do the same thing. Also, what defeats the purpose? Getting rid of JB and then doing the same thing with Paul George. Anyways, the Celtics owner, Frankie Gonzalez, says the Celtics owners trying to save money, doesn't care about the championship. I've said this a couple of times, but here we go. One more time. This is the last year they get away with not spending money. To get out of the repeater tax, right? It gives them more spending flexibility for the next offseason. But if they don't spend money this time next year or June of next year, July of next year, then we get to bring the pitchforks out. But he's allowed one more. This is one more offseason before we start yelling. All right, we're going to call it there. We'll be back tomorrow. I hope you guys enjoyed a couple days off from me and the weekend. Like, subscribe. Come hang out at the NBA bit. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We out.